Hey, what's up guys, this is Luminous, and this is another Lumi Talks Hero series. And if you guys are just like, yo Lumi man, why do you do Lumi Talks Hero? Man, I want a commentary, I want DWS, why haven't you been doing stuff like that? I've been, I don't know, lately been pretty emo. Just don't want to cast. Actually, I've been busy with school and stuff like that too. And the Lumi Talks Hero series, I feel like it's so easy for me to make. I just sit here and talk about heroes, which is what the series is about. Me sitting here and talking about heroes. It's unprepared, unscripted, and impromptu. The live viewers that are watching me right now, decide a hero that I want to talk about, and which is Leshrec, Tormented Soul today. And if you want to follow the live viewing in the future, follow me on Facebook, and I'll be like, hey, I'm doing a Lumi Talks Hero series today, so you guys could come on my stream and suggest that hero. And I will also answer questions towards the end, so if you have some dying question about Lesh, that could wait till the end. Alright, so Lesh is a hero that has 4 active spells, so fun to play. You guys know about his very squishiness. His strength grow is really low. His armor value is actually okay, but pretty low as well. He's a very level dependent hero, and even more so, he's an item dependent hero. So if he doesn't have a good early game, he sucks. I hate heroes like that. I hate heroes with concepts like that. Most Dota heroes are like that, sadly. But if you just have a crap early game, let's say if you just go 0-2 because you got outlaned or you got ganked, you're done. You're done for the most part of the game. It's just tough to play here like that. Now, of course, there's always avenues of comeback, but just keep that in mind. If you go 0-2 with Lesh, you don't expect to have an excellent game. It's just not gonna happen. Now, Lesh is very much so like a Crystal Maiden, like a Beastmaster, like a like an Invoker, like those versatile heroes that you could adjust your skill build so very differently. Now there's many common skill builds. All of them starts out with level 1 Split Earth. You get the 2-second stuns. And yeah, you get the 2-second stun at level 1, and then you go to see what you want to do. If you want to push towers, generally you go for Diabolic Edict, and then you go back to Lightning, and then you go back to maxing Split Earth. So Split Earth, Edict, Lightning, Edict, Lightning, Edict, Lightning, Earth. You don't get your ultimate till much later, although a lot of professional players has been experimenting to get the Pulse Nova very early on. I'll talk about generally why that's not a good idea in just a bit. But yeah, generally you just max the spell you want to go. Whether it's Lightning, whether it's Split Earth, whether it's Diabolic Edict, you just max out one spell first, and then you add back to your other spells much later on. Edict is by far the most common one that you want to max. Let me actually quickly check how much damage does Edict do by itself. I keep saying in my commentary that it's 1600, but I'm not sure if that's the right number. So, Diabolic Edict for 8 seconds, 32 explosion of 50 damage. 32 times 50, that's 1600 damage. Yeah, it's 1600 damage. Now, the damage type is mixed, which means that it does both physical damage, reduced by armor, and does magical damage, which is reduced by magical resistance. So, as the game goes on, as their armor value goes on higher and higher, that your damage is going to go out very as weaker as well. Also, the damage splits off to multiple targets. So if you're hitting one target, he or she is going to get owned. If you're hitting multiple targets, well, not too good. That's going to be very important, especially in terms of mid-game engagements in team fights, as well as when you're pushing. I see a lot of noob Lesh that just sees a creep wave coming toward you. You're like, oh yeah, let's Diabolic Edict this tower. No. You kill that creep wave first, and then you Diabolic Edict. Common sense. Now, some tips about Diabolic Edict. It goes through BKB because it does mixed damage, so there's a physical side of it. It actually hits invisible heroes. It will be there even when you die. It has some decent AoE as well. So those are just like the little extra perks that Diabolic Edict that does, and that's why I max that spell a lot of times, because it just does so much damage. 1600 damage. Absolutely insane early on. Great tower pushing capability. Even in dueling situation, if someone lobs a Stormbolt and then you just walk up, Split Earth, don't right click the enemy hero when you do so, because first they will have better chance of running away when you try to chase Diabolic Edict and when you right click him. Also, because when you right click an enemy hero, you will draw creep aggro, and again, when creep aggro comes onto you, guess what? They're going to be tanking the Diabolic Edict. So generally when teammates are setting up your stuns, make sure your teammates are drawing the aggros, and then you turn off your edict and just don't right click. Just follow them, and then as the creeps are getting away, you're getting your kill. Cool. So that's the skill build. Again, one more time, split earth, and then just max Diabolic Edict by 7, and then go back to lightning or split earth depending on what you want. Again, that's the build I go, but different situations calls for a different build. Now, generally, a lot of pro players and a lot of players in general don't go for the Pulse Nova until you max all 3 of your other skills, because all 3 of your other skills are very spammable, so it's just very good for early game engagement. And because Pulse Nova requires you to be right next to the enemy hero, such as Diabolic Edict would, it puts you... Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. You know, that logic makes no sense. I was going to say, well, yeah, no. Pulse Nova makes you go right next to the enemy hero. But guess what? Diabolic already makes you go into the next enemy hero anyways, right? So that logic is out of the window. Here's the logic why you shouldn't skill Pulse Nova, because you simply don't have the mana to work it. You spam through lightning, you spam through Spirit Earth and Diabolic Edict so much and so frequently and so quickly that you just don't have the mana to support Pulse Nova. If somehow you got the mana to support the Pulse Nova, let's say if you have an OD that's replenishing your mana a lot of times with Essence Aura, if you just got an early Arcane Boots, then yeah, it's okay. You know what? I take that back, what I said about don't skill Pulse Nova until you max out the 3 spells. Different situation calls for different needs. If you have the mana pool to support it, by all means, go Pulse Nova. And this, hence, Lumi Talks Hero series is a very unprepared and unscripted impromptu series, right? Like, I just contradict myself in spans of seconds. One of the most difficult thing about playing Lesh, again, like I pointed out earlier, he's very item dependent. And again, if you have a horrible early game, if you can't last it, who can't last it in the audience? Raise your hand. Me? Yes. If you can't last it, Lesh is a hard hero to play because, well, where the hell is your Arcane Boots going to come from? Where the hell is going to be your bracers come from? He needs HP, he needs mana, and even so, if you get like 3 or 4 bracers and a point booster on him, he's still very squishy because he has no armor. He's just so hard to play in terms of getting the correct items. Now, in terms of boots, all the boots are great on him. It feels like he needs so many stats anyways. Treads is good for the HP, obviously. Good for the switching, the tread switching. Phase good for really good chasing. So Diabolic Edict is going to do a lot. Pulse Nova is going to do a lot. Arcane Boots good for the mana. So that just comes down to the playstyle. And it comes down to what other items you want to get. A lot of times, I personally like to drum on Lesh. It gives you the burst, movement speed to chase. It gives you the bracer component. It gives you the robe magi component. It's just a little bit of everything that you need. It's very, very decent. BKB is a viable choice. Bloodstone's a very viable choice. Sometimes I go Blink Dagger, depending how aggressive I want to play. Like sometimes I go Yule Scepter, a little bit of Self Cyclone Yule. You know, a lot of cool action. He's a hero that works well with a lot of items. But no matter what item you currently have, you feel like it's not enough because he needs so many other items to make it work. Like, but the most ideal item build you want to go with is Arcane Boots, some sort of mana regen, mana increase item, or just stats. Arcane Boots, drums, or Arcane Boots, Bloodstone into a BKB, and then go back to Hex. You just need so much item, and that's why I feel like he's so hard to play. Again, because I don't have a definite item build for this hero, like I said earlier, this is very much like an Invoker. He's very much like a Furion. He's very much like a Crystal Maiden. There's so many ways to build his items to work around that it works. Yeah. Don't forget about Medallion Courage on Lesh as well. Keep in mind again, your Diabolic Edict does mixed damage, physical damage. So, you know. I know a lot of people was like, oh, Medallion Courage. It's not bad. It's not bad. Especially, it helps you Roche. It helps your teammates. Now, don't get it every game. It's not an every game item, especially when you have to prioritize on survival. You know, when you have to prioritize on movement speed and mana. Medallion Courage is like one of those cheesy, cool items that you could get and like show off your Dota Mech knowledge. Like, yeah, mixed damage, minus armor. booyah, that kind of thing. It's one of those, it's like getting a blink on Lesh. It's like cool stuff to do. Earn on Lesh is pretty good too. 200 nuke damage in extra, not bad. Especially when you're splashing about so much damage. You guys get the picture. Like he's very very hard to build around. And this is a hero, again, like I talked about Beastmaster earlier, this is a hero that you want to play about 30 games in a row. And then just play him in every single row, every single which situation, and then after 3 games or so, you'll know, be like, okay, against this certain lineup of hero, I'll go drums. Against this certain lineup of heroes, I'll go BKB. So he's a very good hero that you want to grind out on and get multiple games in and try to improve your skill that way. So that's kind of the pub mentality of playing Lesh. In terms of pro game, we see him play a lot. For example, Navi use him a lot. They always play him on the bottom lane if they're Radiant, and then they play him on the up lane if they are on Dire. What they want to do with that hero is push down a very early tower, and most of the time they use Diabolic E to do so. Sometimes they use him as a farmer in the lane, sometimes they use him as a supporter in the lane, and that alone just shows that he's a very versatile hero. He doesn't need to farm that much, especially when the Navi playing style push down 8 towers in 2 seconds. So he doesn't need to get the farm in lane, but the tower supplements his goal, so he's still a very goal reliant hero. But yeah, again, as long as you're pushing down tower, he doesn't need to farm that much. But if he gets any farm, well, it's really good. Dignitas the other day just played a really, really good Lesh game. You can find that game, again, self-promotion. You can find Dignitas versus Navi on my YouTube channel, and Come With Me just played an exceptional Lesh game. That was like one of the best Lesh game I've ever witnessed in a pro game. So you could watch that game and kind of gaze on how Come With Me build his Lesh in terms of skill build and item build. I think he played it solo mid, I think. Yeah. So pro teams have been very much so experimenting with it. I've seen Quantic use it. I've seen Mouse use it. I've seen EG use it. So very viable hero, but the reason that he's not like a stable hero is because there's always a sense of uncertainty with him. Oh, I have a crap early game. Well, let's play 4v5 for the rest of the game. All those teams I have mentioned about picking Lesh, they always, most of the time, protect that Lesh. Either give him a very easy lane, make sure that he lanes against like it's a dual lane versus an enemy solo, you push his tower. Like, Lesh is always getting some sort of babysit, you know what I'm saying? Like, he needs to be babied. He's an old man, but he needs to be babied because he's just not that good of a hero. So, any Lesh tips? Yeah, no Lesh tips. This is pretty standard hero. So I don't think I have anything else to say. So let's go into some question time. Is Lesh good against melee carries? I suppose so, because the fact that melee have to get next to you and you can kite them very easily. I think Face Boot against melee hero is just cheesy. Like, they run towards you, you turn on Edict, you phase, and you run around him and he just dies. But in that instance, melee heroes also have very dangerous stuns. Like, I'm sure many comes to mind. And then if you get stunned once, you're probably dead. So I can't say he's really good or bad. I wouldn't counterpick. I was like, oh, I see a Sven, and let's counterpick him with Lesh. That won't be my mentality. My mentality will be like, oh, they don't have that many AoE nukes. They don't have any counter pushing. Let's put Lesh. That's kind of my mentality for it. So I don't think he's that good against melee. He's decent. Someone suggests, why don't you leave Lesh Splurf at level 1? Because the stun duration is the same. Yeah, I think that's viable. Definitely viable. For those of you guys who don't know, leveling up stun gives you increased damage and increased AoE of the stun. So it makes it easier to cast. So if your Mega goes to Pro, you don't need to level up stun if that's all you're after. The 2 second stun. Sorry, if the stun time is all you after, then you don't need to level up because it's 2 seconds from 1 to 4. I personally leveled up because, well, I just like it better than Lightning, to be honest. I feel like Lesh is a very much so team fight oriented hero, and Lightning in the team fights, it just don't do too much because they don't line up, they don't clump up, and Lightning is a spell that kind of requires them to be nearby area. I feel like Lightning just don't hit that much in a team fight. I sometimes I just go like I actually go Splurf and Diabolic Gator, and then just go right next to each other, and then I go Lightning much later. That's just me. But then, yeah, if you feel like a baller and want to go Split Earth and go Edict Lightning, it's a viable build. It's definitely cool. And B-Balling suggests, shout out to B-Balling who's moderating chat. If it takes forever to cast Lightning, it does take forever to cast Lightning and Split Earth and every other spell that he casts. Yeah, and by the time that you raise your damn hand and cast that Lightning, they're out of the way already. It takes forever to bounce the Lightning too, so that's... Lothar and Lesh. It's okay. Lothar and Lesh is like Radiance on Ricky Maru. It's like it, yeah, sure, it works. Is it good? I don't know. Oh, I don't know the answer to this question, which is not even in the chat. I don't know the answer. How does Post Nova work with Essence Aura? Can you spam it, turn on and turn off, and then get mana regen? I need to find this out. This is important info. So if you guys know, let me know in the chat. I'll check that in a bit. But let me go to. I think that is worth knowing, especially if you have a OD on your team. Where the freak is OD? There's OD. How does it actually work? Essence or Okay, yeah, it doesn't work. Several skills with no cooldown, such as Storm Surge Ball Lightning, and toggle spells such as Witch Doctor Voodoo Restoration, cannot trigger Essence Aura. I think Lesh's ultimate falls under that category, so it doesn't work. That sucks. That sucks. Unless someone confirms that it does work. Does it work? I'm seeing a mixture of yes and no, and I don't know which one to take. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. It sounds too good. Oh, actually, a very interesting item to go on Lesh is Blaymail. Blaymail on Lesh. Not sure whether that would work. It's like you turn on Blaymail and you turn on Post Nova and turn on Edict and you just go to town, and then you make them take the choice. You want to attack me? Come at me, bro. I don't know about that. It sounds like a cool idea. I've never tried it myself, so I can't advocate it. Maybe if you guys tried it, let me know how that works out. Of course, Ghost Scepter Lesh, someone else is suggesting, makes a lot of sense. Veil of Discord is suggested by someone. Veil's been buffed, so it's a lot cheaper to make. But I feel like when you're thinking about Veil, you're just like, oh, why don't you just get more survivability instead? Which I will actually prefer survivability over Veil. I feel like if you're going Veil, then you could probably work towards your BKB. Same thing with Rod of Atos. If you're going Rod of Atos, why not BKB instead? That's just my thought on it. I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's all the questions. So, yeah, thanks for the live viewers tuning up. Again, if you guys want to tune into future Talking with Lumi, no, Lumi Talks Heroes, whatever this show is called, if you want to tune into that in the future, then follow me on Facebook and I will announce it. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, Luminous signing off. See you guys.